with Jeff Landry, hearing that that Trump had appointed him to like a it's like that some sort it's like the National Historic Preservation Commission. So
Wait, so
yeah,
he's now the
similar.
governor of Louisiana. He is ruling by fiat, the Louisiana legislature. He is the special envoy to Greenland, and now he is some sort of historic preservation.
Yes. And
Okay.
actually with all of those things, he has no apparent qualifications
Yeah.
for.
This is the meritocracy.
Nor real relevant experience or interests, right? He's our guy. Historical preservation. I mean, he's the most like coon ass redneck that possibly exists. Like has like horrible taste. I'm sure cares nothing about historical preservation. Sounds like our guy. Good old Jeff Landry. I think he might be the most redneck governor currently sitting governor. I think he might be. We
Really
sh-
true.
as folks know, I'm from Kentucky. We understand redneck there. It's a term we use. It's a concept we know. We know when somebody's a little bit redneck, and we know in general when someone's a redneck. So, as always, being the ambassador from my great culture in Kentucky, I'm going to start teaching y'all about what a redneck is.
Welcome to Seriously, the podcast that dives into the baffling,
We can't send them to a prison where there's animals, where there's livestock.
the ridiculous,
Like omelet's better than sex.
and downright unbelievable political climate in red states like Louisiana.
So we can't go there. There's no vegan jail.
Seriously. Seriously.
Welcome to Seriously. We're your hosts. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Ellie, host Mardi
And
Gras Ellie, still alive to tell the tale.
Ellie might be the only one in the city that is not afflicted with the Mardi Gras crud.
Yeah, not yet. Fingers crossed. I have been in like a series of sort of like low grade panics. However, this year it did not come with a side of self loathing. So that this is good proof that I only got into too much trouble, but not more than I should have. Just only so much bad behavior, not enough that's panic with a side of self loathing. So that's a win. That's a win for Mardi Gras.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I'm not a big Mardi Gras person, to be honest with you, especially when Mardi Gras conflicts with the Winter Olympics, which
Yes.
I really love. So I enjoyed my Mardi Gras break watching snowboarders and skiers hurl themselves in the air and contort their bodies in ways that I thought surely they were going to die. And when they don't, it's so exciting and it makes me like just burst into tears.
I love the Olympics as well, as you know, winter, summer, whatever. I wish it came more often. I'm always like kind of disappointed when it's during Mardi Gras because I do a lot of Mardi Gras. But I remember this year it's actually great because then like when you need to like retreat and recover for a couple of hours, then yeah, you can just watch the Olympics and like I literally start crying like moment one.
Yeah.
Like just like turn on the TV. I hear the music, I start getting slightly teary already. I'm like, tell me about the person from Norway who like, you know, overcame 50 million odds or didn't and wins every time. It doesn't matter. Either one will make me cry.
Yeah,
I love
100%.
it. I love it.
I know. I love it too. I also love that the Olympics are um, a real illustration of America's decline in the world.
Well, the winter, but
The
that's
Winter
constant.
Olympics.
That's
Yeah.
constant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We used to really dominate in snowboarding and now we like can barely get on the
Yeah.
podium.
I'm sure that happened with the Romans too.
Mhm. Yeah.
Think there were no Olympics for that period. That's another sign. Another sign. Bad times.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. We have not been together, seen each other, or even talked to each other in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I missed you.
I know. Me too. But
So
I've
we have
had
a
time
lot.
to miss you. I've been partying, panicking, watching the Olympics,
Okay. Well, I had plenty of time to
and
miss you.
ignoring most of my responsibilities other than the aforementioned. But as it goes this time of the year.
We have a legislative session coming up, so we're
Mhm.
going to have to get into the weeds on some of that in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I saw it just for folks to know. I decided to, actually check the calendar yesterday. And the pre-filing deadline is this coming Friday. So the deadline to request bills is on Wednesday. The deadline to actually file shit is on Friday. So all the good news and bad news ideas will be known
Yeah.
by 5 o'clock on Friday. And usually that's like a real banner day for me, where then I'm like, yeah, supposed to read all this shit? What? Like, this is
Yeah.
insanity. This is insanity.
Well,
This
the
one's
good
stupid. This one's stupid. This one's insane. There's two piles.
yeah,
Oh, this one's good. That's like a very small pile.
right.
It's like this pile, and then this one.
Well, I think that next week we can talk about some of the ones that we kind of know might be coming, and we'll give us ourselves a week to actually get through this shit that we don't know that's coming.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. But in the 3 weeks that we have been apart, there's been a lot of stuff that's happened that has made me say seriously. Um, I'm going to start with my favorite of the stories, which is every year around the anniversary of Roe v. Wade, the decision in Roe v. Wade, which was
Right.
January 22nd. The anti abortion idiots get together in cities across the country and in Washington, D.C., and they host this thing called March for Life.
Which now, by the way, just as an aside, is just like a fucking victory lap that they're doing. Like it
Yeah.
used to be that, like, is an organizing principle for their side, to like commemorate slash, throw up on like the anniversary of what they considered to be a very bad decision. And now it's just like, why y'all still talking about this shit? Why?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Anyway.
during their victory lap, the quote unquote pro life gathering spawned a measles outbreak. So there's been news reports that many of the attendees at the March for Life rally in DC were exposed to measles and have brought measles back to their communities.
Like adults, did adults get the measles, or all the children that they're indoctrinating by bringing them to that victory lap? Or both,
I think
maybe?
it's both. I think it's both. Yeah. But really, the children are the ones that are most at risk
Yeah,
because they're like
right.
super anti vax. So that is kind of the least pro life thing, I think, in the world is like, let's go and contract a highly contagious, deadly disease for which there is a vaccine
Mhm.
that is completely prophylactic and bring it back to our community so we can kill all these babies that we saved.
So, this reminds me, you may have this is a throwback, but to COVID, but when there already was the vaccine and stuff was, like, back happening at the legislature, but it was, like, still dicey early days,
Mhm.
and there was the hearing on McCormick's murder bill,
Oh,
the
yeah.
abortion homicide bill, and it was fucking packed. That room was packed with insane people who came from all over the country who like were, I mean, I'm sure obviously anti-vaxxers. And like it felt kind of dicey in that room, and like tons of people wearing masks. I was like, I'm not wearing a fucking mask. These people will barely listen to me without a goddamn mask on. But then what happened after that? Well, I came back home. My dad, who, was turning 70, was in town visiting, and my sister had had a baby 2 weeks before. And so what happens then? They both come down with COVID, my dad and my 2-week-old nephew. And then, of course, I test for COVID and I have it for the first time. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm the one who gave this to you
Yeah.
guys
Patient
because
0.
I was just in a room of fucking crazy people. Like these fucking people, my enemies, are now going to worry me that I'm going to kill my dad and my 2-week-old nephew. They were both fine, survived to tell the tale. But yeah, that's what being around these people, those are the risks you have to take to try to, do your job.
Yeah. Um, it's just absurd. And obviously, the children of these people who are not vaccinated had no choice or say in the manner. And
Yeah.
so I hope
No, I
that
don't
they
wish harm on
survive
them.
and
Yes.
and that they are okay.
I wish on
But
their parents that this is a learning episode.
the
Yeah,
grief that their parents may feel in this moment that their
fingers crossed.
children have measles
I don't
is
know, there was
well
like a lady
deserved.
there was a
And
woman in Texas, like, last year, though, that and she's from, like, she's from, like, a deeply religious anti-vaccine community, so there's, like, some overarching, reasoning, whether well-reasoned or not, but that's not just, like, conspiracy theories. Um, but, like, had, like, a couple of kids that were very, very sick, one that was, like, maybe gonna die and had, like, an infant and was asked, will you do this differently with your now infant?" And she said no.
yeah,
So, you know.
religion
There's that.
is a hell of a drug.
The opiate of the masses, I'm pretty sure somebody
That's
said.
right. I have a couple other things to talk about, but what do you have?
Well, starting point, I guess, is the, resident lawyer, being that the big legal news is the Supreme Court tariffs decision that, the court struck down Trump's IEPA, bullshit emergency. I can do whatever I want because I can do whatever I want, being the legal rationale before tariffs, which was, like, pretty expected that the court was gonna do it. To me, on that point, it's just like, I don't think these people deserve any, like, huge amount of credit. When everyone knows you're bad at your job, just because, like, sometimes you meaningfully engage with the task that you were hired to do, doesn't really change the analysis on that. But yeah, 6-3 with, the nutballs in the dissent
The
being,
nutballs being
obviously Clarence Thomas and Alito. I mean, because, like, there is no depths to which they will not slink to support Trump and authoritarianism. And Kavanaugh, because, he's like Mr. Unitary Executive
it
guy.
seems to me, though, that Kavanaugh is becoming like I'm watching the Alito evolution of Kavanaugh in real time. Like he is becoming more and more radical, I think. He's
Yeah.
spending way too much time with the Thomas and Alito, I think.
Which, like, God bless. I mean, those folks have got to be like the least fun people on the court. I mean, Alito has got Gorsuch. There's Gorsuch. Never mind. There is one less, even less fun member of the court to spend time with. I think that's right. I mean, there was like some thoughts. I don't remember if it was this term or in recent terms that Kavanaugh was now the center of the court. That probably Amy Coney Barrett, I think, is the center of the court now, which is disturbing. Also, but I don't know. It may be this is Kavanaugh's bizarro, like the executive, the president being given all the authority
Mhm.
since Kavanaugh comes out of working as the president's lawyer. Back I guess in Bush times. I don't know. I guess it was probably George W.
Mhm.
So that's like really kind of his bag. So maybe it's not like a harbinger of all things, but whatever. They're crazy. Just a matter of on how many issues. And with two of them, it's on all of them.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So the only other thing I'll say about the decision before we get to Trump's reaction to it, which is the real seriously here, is that of course though, like court didn't say what is supposed to happen now. Like
Mhm.
like how or if people or companies are going to get repaid the money that basically the government illegally took from them. And this includes like many, many small businesses. Um and, this to me is just like the typical fucking thanks, John Roberts and or
Mhm.
Supreme Court, which is just like, we're not going to say how you guys should handle this. We're just going to tell you that what you've done is illegal. And so you can't keep doing it.
Yeah.
But like what you guys do from here, you figure it out. And like there are processes, complicated processes where just under regular situations, if like you think that it's like with any tax basically that you have paid under protest that like you can go through a process of getting repaid. But it's like a fairly long administrative process. There's statutes of limitations. I know that's why some bigger companies, were like Costco and companies like that were going ahead and filing their claims, like going ahead and suing basically, because you might otherwise get fucked. And like I think it's not that long, maybe a year or something with a lot of claims. So, there could be people that get fucked because the Supreme Court just basically is like, do whatever the regular is or do whatever Trump now says you can do. So thanks for nothing, John Roberts. And also, but as a real thank you, then as a lawyer, then the upside of how the Supreme Court always does is that basically most of their decisions could be seen as the Lawyers Employment Act decision.
100%. Yeah, because now everybody's going to have to
Everybody's got to
go
get a
file their
lawyer.
own lawsuits, try to get their money back.
Yep. Everybody's got to
Unbelievable.
get a lawyer. Yeah. So it's not my area of practice, but yeah. So yeah, the rest of the decision is fairly in the weeds and is not within my wheelhouse. And is also super boring. But
Yeah.
what wasn't is Trump's reaction to it. Like the fucking press conference, it was a real banger. It was a real banger. Like I think probably for me most notably where he accused the majority, so including Roberts and Amy Coney Barrett, of being under the corrupt influence of foreign powers, and that's why they did what they did. Like he said it, I think, twice, and then when asked by a reporter, like at the end, like, "Mr. President, like, do you have any evidence of this? Do you have any evidence, like, of like, some sort of corrupt foreign influence on these people?" And he said, You'll see, like, just wait and see." So
Because he's going to tweet at Pam Bondi and make her investigate them.
yeah, well, I know. I was thinking this morning, I was like, I mean, a girl can dream. I mean, maybe like his corrupt FBI has been illegally surveilling the Supreme Court and has uncovered some stuff. Who knows? Who knows? Most likely he's just making it up because that's what Trump does. It's just like, the reflecting where he's saying things that are, of course, obviously and demonstrably true about himself. And just, when would it ever be irresponsible to just, throw about like a bunch of unfounded, very serious accusations about high ranking government officials that, why would we need evidence of any of that? So that was really my favorite part of that. Also, when he said, he was also asked by a reporter with like would be at Gas Gorsuch and Amy Coney Barrett, his appointees. Like, do you regret having appointed them? And he said something like, "Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna say that, but their families should be ashamed of them. Their families should be embarrassed." And he said it kind of
Yeah.
like in a Godfathery way, though. Like, anyway, so
Yeah, nice
he
little family
threw-
you got there.
yeah,
Be
their
ashamed of
families
some-
should be
Yeah.
ashamed of themselves.
yeah.
Yeah, and there might be repercussions.
Yeah.
So he threw an absolute temper tantrum, is really the top line. A press conference that, like, in any sort of normal administration just would be absolutely unthinkable. Like, I mean, I remember with Obama, I remember with Biden, every president always, when like a very big decision comes down that like that is horrible news for their policies, that they very well may disagree with on the law, like really seriously. I think with about, it's like, I'm disappointed in the decision, like, I don't think it will hold, this logic will hold up over time. Those were like fucking fighting words.
Yeah.
That like a president might say about a Supreme Court decision in regular times. Trump is insulting people's families, accusing people of foreign corrupt influence, and just generally he called them slime balls. So yeah, it was good. Yesterday was a good day on the on the Supreme Court front, both substantively and the like, man, like you're just a child and you can't even just do this behind closed doors. Just
Yeah.
like say this shit to your friends. Don't have a wide ranging, in some, of course, often incoherent like press conference about it. So yeah, it was a good day. It was a good day.
It's interesting to me just how much Trump cares about tariffs. Like, I just,
Yeah. It's his
it's
favorite word, Michelle. Favorite
it's
word in English
inexplicable.
language.
There were other accusations I think that he could have lobbed at them that probably would have had a lot more sympathy because
Or
cynically,
possibly basis in reality
yeah, I mean, the only thing that John Roberts has decided to part with Trump on and Amy Coney Barrett
is the
is
money,
like
money, money.
is money. Yeah,
Money.
business.
Yeah.
If it's going to
Uh-huh.
hurt business,
Yeah.
it's not for them.
That's what makes them Republicans.
Yeah.
Michelle.
Yeah.
No, what he did say, I mean, I agree. It's always been sort of inexplicable to me that what other than that he's stuck in like the 1980, like early 80s with all policies, including tariffs. The only thing that sort of makes sense about it is, of course, how he has operationalized it, and some of how he talked about it yesterday about how it's a tool he can use to destroy countries, to
Yeah.
destroy other people, that he can do whatever he wants. Like he understood that it was like just I mean, the way he was using it was just like a mob boss.
Yeah, it was like pushing
"You have to
pushing
pay
kids
protection to
down.
me."
Yeah,
Yes.
like pushing kids down on the playground and demanding their fucking lunch money.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So that makes sense.
Okay. Well,
Um, what's your I've got one more that's like a little bit, closer to Louisiana that's from a couple weeks ago, but
okay. Well,
what else do you
I
have?
have a breaking news and then I have another one, so we'll go back and forth. Let me do my breaking news and I'll shoot it back to you. This is breaking news. The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals en banc, which means the entire bench, not just the three-judge panel. They have now cleared the way for Louisiana's law requiring the Ten Commandments in classrooms to take effect. So this sucks. And we talked about this for a brief minute before we started recording. We will definitely be reaching out to Nora from ACLU and having Nora back on
Yeah,
to go
when we
through
talked to her
this
right.
opinion more
When
deeply.
we yeah, when we talked to her then, the state had requested en banc rehearing, but
Right.
it had not the Fifth Circuit had not decided yet whether they were going to grant it. So we talked a little bit about, like, the what the logic was maybe of the state even requesting en banc rehearing. Yeah, the analysis of all of that will now have changed, though, because even some of the thought was then that, like, maybe they'll just get some sort of something good from the Fifth Circuit, but because assuming that the Supreme Court, if doing what they regularly should, so not now,
Yeah.
would not take the case and would allow the ruling striking down the law to stand. Now it's kind of like I guess that they're daring the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, in theory, now I mean, assuming that that there's not more nuance to this ruling, and they have just now upheld the law, then the plaintiffs will be asking the Supreme Court to take the case. Yeah, more crazy news from the from the Fifth Circuit. So that's also like, is today another day that ends in day? But
I just
yeah.
want to say though, this was a 12-6 decision.
Uh,
This was not a close
Well, I'd have to
majority.
well, that's probably, like, literally on ideological line.
Probably, but
There are
that
still some judges on the Fifth Circuit who have some sense. I mean,
yeah,
like, who, you know, were not Trump appointees or I mean, some of the other real conservatives are before that. But I mean, like, it is stacked with real ideologues, but there are some reasonable judges, not, literally not liberal, not just reasonable, but that's probably about right. You've
yeah,
probably got about a third of a chance of getting a reasonable panel there, and so that's
that's
the
really
way it stands.
scary. So Judge James Ho, who is
Yeah,
auditioning to replace
100%.
I guess Alito or Thomas or whoever they're hoping
Whoever.
retires.
He wrote it.
No, he wrote a concurring opinion.
Of course,
Yeah.
because it's probably, like, a little bit even crazier or
Yeah,
just
because he's
wants
like,
to
"This isn't just constitutional. This affirms our nation's highest and most noble
oh
traditions."
my god, I might throw up in my mouth right now.
I know. This was the majority opinion. They said that the reason that they are taking the position that they are is because there aren't enough facts available to permit judicial judgment rather than speculation. There aren't enough facts about whether or not we should be hanging a religious document in public classrooms to say with certainty that this is a violation of the Establishment Clause. So, more to come.
It sounds like the usual bullshit where it's like they're saying like things that are inconsistent under normal
Yeah.
analysis,
Yeah.
but they're like, this sounds good. Let's just like throw this in too. We would
It's
never handle this under any theory of how the law gets interpreted or applied. This is not how we normally handle it, but let's just like put it all in.
yeah,
Yeah.
there aren't enough facts in this case.
So we're gonna rule now. And And there's binding authority that's directly on point, but,
Exactly.
whatever. Yeah.
I mean, what yeah. What is precedent?
Nothing.
So we'll invite Nora back on to go into the weeds on this, and I will read it thoroughly so that I can ask a lot of dumb
Yeah.
questions.
My condolences to Nora and that whole team that on the Saturday after Mardi Gras, you're having to deal with this shit. Like, are like reading through 50,000 idiots, idiot decisions and
Yeah,
concurrences to have to talk to the media. Can you not just give us a little bit more time, folks? Like a
yeah.
little bit more recovery time? Now. um, So my other seriously is so this is from a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, closer to home is when so with Jeff Landry is hearing that that Trump had appointed him to like it's like that some sort it's like the National Historic Preservation Commission.
Okay.
So like,
Wait,
you
so
know,
he's now the governor
similar.
of Louisiana. He is ruling by fiat, the Louisiana legislature. He is the special envoy to Greenland, and now he
Mhm.
is some sort of historic preservation.
Yes. And
Okay.
actually with all of those things, but I was only thinking about it with Greenland and the historical preservation, then they are things that he has no apparent qualifications
Yeah.
for,
This is the meritocracy.
nor real relevant experience or interests, right? Like with Greenland, as we've talked about, then it's like, okay, well, Louisiana is swampy, hot as shit, and like melting. Greenland is freezing, full of ice, and very far away. He's our guy. Historical preservation. I mean, he's the most like coon ass redneck that possibly exists. Like, has like horrible taste. I'm sure cares nothing about historical preservation. Sounds like our guy. Well, of course, I realized pretty quickly the reason for this, and I haven't had this confirmed, but I can guarantee you this is the reason. I heard something that was like sort of vague on NPR, is because there's two commissions that Trump now has to get to approve the new White House, the construction at the White House. So
Oh.
obviously, one of them is this National Historical Preservation Commission. What I'd heard later was just that those commissions have now been stacked with Trump loyalists. So it's like, correct. My instinct was correct on this. So that's his relevant qualification, is that he's a Trump goon. But it made me start thinking, yeah, about good old Jeff Landry and how I think he might be the most redneck governor currently sitting governor. I
That's
think he might be.
that's
We
probably
sh-
true.
and I'm not like super read in on all of the governors right now, but we should think about it. So two things on that. Number one, it also reminded me that, you know, as folks know, I'm from Kentucky. We
Mm.
understand redneck there. It's a term we use. It's a concept we know. We know when somebody's a little bit redneck. We know in general when someone's redneck. You guys don't understand that down here. It's not a term you guys use. There's like yaps, there's cutenasses, there's all that sort of stuff, but you don't really understand the use of the term and the sort of criteria for being a redneck. So, as always, being the ambassador from my great culture in Kentucky, I'm going to start teaching y'all about
Okay.
what a redneck is. Number one, I think we should start a new game that's called Who's More Redneck? And I'm imagining this with like a 1980s sort of game show that it's like, who's more redneck? Like Wheel of Fortune style. And we'll have 2 candidates and go through it. Because the only person I could think of, and really, I'd like folks to weigh in on current governors who may or may not be more redneck than Jeff Landry. The only person I could think of who is not currently a governor is Christine Nome. Could have given him a little bit of run for his money on who's more redneck. Although I think, and this we'll get into this as I start really teaching y'all about what it means to be a redneck, that she might just be white trash, which is a
Oh,
close cousin. It's a close cousin to being a redneck, but the Venn diagram does not entirely overlap between white trash and redneck. So,
and Kunas.
yes, it's
Yeah,
not entire overlap.
yeah.
Kunas to me is a specific geography too. Like redneck, as one of my good friends from growing up, who's Jewish actually. So like the diaspora is like, obviously a real thing. Then she has this great theory about the redneck diaspora
Hmm.
because they are everywhere, and it is true. There are rednecks all over the world. There's rednecks all over the United States, and that they must have, but that the culture is the same.
It's
So they
like
must
Dallas
have started out
Cowboys fans.
somewhere.
Yeah, it's like Dallas Cowboys fans. They have like infiltrated every part of the country. Yeah.
Yeah, but like they had if the culture, if there's kernels of the culture that are the same, they had to have started out in some common place.
Yeah.
I think it's probably Appalachia, but they don't travel that much. So maybe Alabama, be Southern Germany. I don't know. We'll have to think about that. But and then somehow they got dispersed all over the world. But yeah, Christy Nome was the only person that comes to mind. We can give this some thought. Also, who's more redneck? I think could be a good game for our legislators. I mean, that'll
100%.
be basically it's called all this is again, as I start to teach you guys, it's called all of the northern Louisiana ones other than the black ones. They're all rednecks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's Jeff Landry being on the Historical Preservation Commission and who's more redneck as a future game slash learning experience from a Kentuckian who knows what a redneck looks like and acts like. Those are my
Yeah.
those are my big additions to this podcast.
It really seems like Jeff Landry's position on there might be there may need to be a rebranding so that it's like sort of the Whiteness Preservation Commission, probably.
What I really hope is that uh like as with the Cassidy, the Senator Cassidy race, which this is also an awesome, seriously, that like of course Julia Letlow is running because Trump endorsed her before she even had agreed to run. Like just for a real fuck you to Cassidy. So she is now running, and like because she's popular for whatever reason, and because she has Trump's endorsement, then she's like the front runner. So now there's tons of commercials down here calling her liberal Julia Letlow. Liberal Julia Letlow did blah blah blah. And it's like she was somehow involved with a university that had DEI. I mean, like I'm sure it's all so tangential, but I want somebody with Landry to be running from the right and being like, he was on the Historical Preservation Commission.
Mhm.
Like,
Trying to
that doesn't sound conservative.
trying to preserve history.
And he's
Yeah.
like, I am a redneck. That is not true. Let the record reflect I am a redneck.
What a fucking idiot.
Liberal Jeff Landry was the liaison to Greenland and oversaw the historical preservation of our nation, not involving Confederate monuments.
Oh my
Anyway, as
God.
one can tell, I'm relatively far into my very responsible iced tea and bourbon post Mardi Gras drink. But
I
yeah, so
appreciate
I'm
it.
cracking myself up at this point.
Yeah.
That's
This
basically
is
all this
called
is.
a Lower Garden District iced tea, not a Long Island iced tea.
Yeah, it's called
Yeah.
an uptown iced tea at my
An
house.
uptown iced tea. Yeah. Okay. All right. I have one more thing that I totally forgot that I wanted to talk to you about. I like literally pinned this in my running notes of things that have made me freak the fuck out. But this is okay. So it's called the Greater Than Campaign. And I'm going to have to share a video with you.
I like it already.
I'm just going to play it. I'm not going to tell you anything about it. I think it's like 3 minutes, but maybe we'll cut some of it. But I want to play the whole thing.
Marriage is actually the most basic institution of human civilization.
When Obergefell redefined marriage to include same-sex couples, it was billed as a win for adult equality. In reality, it created inequality for children. It made our children less than.
When you redefine marriage, you redefine parenthood. When you make mothers and fathers optional in parenthood law, children are harmed.
We now have these trite phrases like love makes a family, or all you need is just love. As long as your physical needs are met and someone is cheering you on, then apparently you'll grow up fine.
But the kids aren't fine. The kids haven't been fine for quite some time.
You redefine marriage, you have just destroyed the house. You can put together a new house and claim it's the same. Children will know the difference. It harms children in virtually every way imaginable. We're prioritizing the fantasies of adults, no matter how earnestly those fantasies are felt, over the real needs and the real good of children.
The data that we have says two things. Number one, children do best when they are raised in a home with married, biological mom and dad. The other thing we know from research is that moms don't dad and dads don't mom. It's not enough to say kids just need loving parents, because kids need a particular kind of parent. And parenting comes in two forms, moms and dads.
When you look at social science, it says beyond a shadow of a doubt that children that grow up in a loving two-parent biological home, mom and dad, those children will do best.
There is something primal about our relationship with the two people who gave us life.
Every single child, every single human being is the living embodiment of the relationship between exactly one man and one woman.
It's a mother and a father that bring forth children into the world, and that's by design, because those children need a mother and a father.
There's two legitimate ways to unite a child to adults. The first one is biology. If you made the baby, that baby has a claim to you. The second pathway is adoption, where a child has suffered loss, and a just society responds by placing them with parents who have undergone screening and vetting and background checks to, as much as possible, replicate the kind of protectiveness that a biological mother and father would offer the child. That's not what's happening today.
Marriage policy should be about the children. It's not about bestowing public policy legitimacy and conferring economic benefits when it comes to adults who have their own idiosyncratic romantic desires. That's not the purpose of marriage policy.
Redefining marriage robs children of the natural right to their mother and father.
And it puts adult desires over children's needs. It has to stop. Children
are greater.
Children
are greater.
Children are greater
than equal.
And it's time we fought for their rights.
So, I had not seen this, but I actually had heard most of it. So I will direct folks to a podcast that Tim Miller and Sarah Longwell did about this on the Bulwark at some point fairly recently. And they are both gay, and they did a very deep dive on this.
That's how I found it. They were the only, that was the only coverage of this I saw.
It's even, so I was just listening to it. It's even worse seeing it. But yeah, it's like my rage is just growing and growing and growing as it goes. But it's like also so well produced that it's not even like you're like, that doesn't make sense. That's horrible. That's bullshit. But like then they're on to the next offensive and illogical thing. I mean, it's really, I guess on the legal side, of course, like so cynical and also very smart as an attack on Obergefell. Like we're going to go with the children. This isn't about equality. This is about children. And to all the, idiots out there, and I know many of them who voted for Trump and, don't think that this court is really going to be as bad as folks say, who just don't believe that this court has any interest in overturning Obergefell. Like, newsflash, that is not true. And people who have been following the court, like, lawyers like me, have been saying that for a while. And this is, of course, like the folks on the right know this. There's whether it happens or not, we'll see. But like there has been and will be an overt campaign to do that.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, just like in addition to being offensive, it's also just like it's completely divorced from reality. Like first of all, a lot of biological parents are shitty fucking parents, like shitty parents. Kids are stuck with those parents, So just being a biological parent does not de facto make you a good parent. Also, there's lots of children that just don't have biological parents, one or both, that like if given the opportunity to have any kind of loving parental relationship, they will for sure benefit from that. So it just, all of it is like, what world are these people living in? And with the weird, like most of what they're saying is like anti-adoption in general. There was like some weird adoption thread there at the end that like, I don't really understand. There's all this vetting, but somehow that's not happening. What are you talking about? These are the same people that actually want to steal everybody else's fucking kids and raise them themselves as like, little Christian nationalists, but like, it's good then when not non-biological parents, I guess, are raising their kids. I don't know. There's just so much about it that is like just absolutely offensive, super strategic, and then just like, yeah, divorced from reality.
Yeah.
That's my rant. You can
Yeah.
go
No.
on yours.
All of that is true. All of that is true. This is not fringe for the right.
Yeah, I
I want to
believe that
just point out to
100%.
people that
Those are some of the big, just so people can see, the biggest luminaries in the Christian right
yes,
movement were on there. Tony Perkins,
Tony
Lila
Perkins,
Rose. Absolutely. Yes.
Tony Perkins raised Mike Johnson
Yes. These people
from
have real influence in our
yes,
government on the
Lila
state and
Rose is
federal
leading
level.
the anti-abortion movement. Yeah, you've got people from the Heritage Foundation.
Yeah, and whoever James Dobson's next guy is, James Dobson is dead, but like whoever took over from him, like it's every like this well-produced video from the absolute brain trust of the religious right is again proof that like this is a strategic and well orchestrated plan.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're starting with the propaganda, because
Yeah.
they think like
Because
this is
now
easy to get people to believe
just
it.
that like they lost the battle to convince people that the
Gay people
Bible
are bad.
says,
Yeah.
that the Bible says like being gay is an abomination, blah, 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 blah. So now it's but what about the fucking children? What about
Exactly.
the children? What about
Yeah.
the children? Some of the
I
most
like that they still
well-adjusted and amazing kids that I know are being raised by same-sex parents.
100%. Also being raised by single parents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
And honestly, the kids that I know that are kind of the most fucked up are being raised by MAGA and like psycho-religious right people. Like, yeah.
I did like that they like because they can't help themselves though, then they did have to start out with that marriage is the most fundamental part of what was the first line? It was like something like from the foundations of like human society. Like what? I mean,
No, that's
like
not, yeah.
marriage is stupid. Marriage is stupid. Everyone knows I'm not a big fan. Like, people should be able to do it, but like it's not the foundation of our society.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway, so that was just I feel like that kind of came and
Disturbing.
went, and
Yeah.
the only coverage that I saw of it was Tim and Sarah on the Bulwark.
Same.
So shout out to
Mhm.
them. But I put it in my running notes of fucked up shit to talk about with you and our listeners because I think that people really underestimate one, how much fucking money these people have.
No shit. No
And
shit.
two, how organized they are and how like they're all in bed together. They're all
Yep.
like working together, all coordinating together. Project 2025 did not come out of the ether. That was a coordinated campaign of building this comprehensive plan to destroy everything about America that you and I like love about it. Came
Also, just to
together
put
from like all of these different
yes.
seemingly disparate kind of movements, like disparate priorities. And I just want to say as an illustration, like again, people on the left, liberals, progressives, all of us,
Pay attention to what these
yes,
motherfuckers are
pay
doing.
attention to what these
Yeah.
people are doing. Like we have got to figure out a way to put our dumb ass differences aside and coalesce
Agreed.
together
Oh my God.
and build a movement that is prepared to counter this nonsense
Well,
because
that's a
it's
whole
insane.
other podcast that I want to have is about what we're doing wrong. As you
Yeah.
know, we
Yeah.
as a movement, as Democrats, as progressive, as all of those things. But just to put a finer point on what people should really think about with this is that these are the same people who are responsible for overturning Roe
Mhm.
and basically that came about it with the same message that it's the children that are important, not women's equality, not women's rights.
That's
So
right.
they're actually just replicating the exact same fucking playbook.
The children that
Mhm.
are now getting measles and dying because they went to a fucking March for
Yeah,
Life
most of those
rally.
kids probably have two biological parents who are doing a bang up job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, let's wrap it up then. That was 3 weeks worth of complete and total fuckery
Yeah.
that we
And I'm sure
summarized.
we missed a ton of
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What are the people supposed to do, Ellie?
Tell your friends. Tell your enemies. Tell everyone you know to rate, subscribe, and review. Watch us on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple. We're on all the shit. We're on even more shit than I know what it is. You sent me something recently. It's like all the different, I'm like, I haven't even heard of all these platforms. So, folks, you can find us and do it. Yeah. Rate, review, and subscribe. And yeah. Write a review. I love the reviews.
Yeah, the reviews are really great. We would really like to hear them, even if they're shitty reviews. Write us a shitty review. That's fine too.
Yeah, and then I'll just hate you. That's fine. I
Yeah,
love hating
we'll
people.
just
It's one of
talk
my
shit
favorite
about
things.
you.
Yeah.
We'll add you on our list, our our enemies list,
That's
and
right. Yeah.
we'll go from there.
Yeah, and set voice memos.
Yep.
Still with people's seriously moments also.
Yes.
Suggestions for who's more redneck. I'll take suggestions either for other governors currently sitting or recently former, or just like good comparisons. I think we should try to play the game kind of like Mary Berry Fuck, where it's like it has to be, two
Like, yeah, is it
relatively similarly
Kunas,
situated.
Redneck, or what was the other one?
No,
White
I'm
trash. Yeah.
I'm saying we could do that too. That's a different game. That's a good game too, though. But I'm saying like it needs to be the comparators need to be similar. Like with Mary Berry Fuck, it's only fun if basically the candidates are all horrible or the candidates are all great. So like you can't figure out like what would you do. So this has to be similar where
Yeah.
like it's like, oh God, this is gonna be a hard one. If it's obvious he's more redneck, then it's not a game.
I think we should do it for Louisiana legislators, so we can put that together.
Yeah.
Speaking of, our legislative session starts in a couple weeks, so we are going to
starts on March 9th, I believe. Yeah.
I know we've been taking a lot of breaks.
No more breaks.
Yeah, basically we're probably going to be back every week starting now to keep you
She's
informed.
mostly saying this for my benefit, not really for yours. Like, get ready.
Yes.
No,
yes.
that's all right. I'm ready.
Good. Okay.
Ish.
Well, I love you, Ellie, and I will talk to you again.
I love you too. And happy
soon.
birthday. Yesterday was Michelle's birthday, everybody.
Thanks. Yes. Pisces Aquarius cusp. So I am fully neurotic. Yeah, that's
Still
what
a
that
little
means.
heads in the cloudy though. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we'll be back next week. Thanks so much.
Seriously is presented by Lift Louisiana, a nonprofit organization advocating for reproductive health rights and justice.